Hey peeps, how we doing? John for the Good Dog. Actually beautiful. I was gonna say just cold Rhode Island, but it's not. It's sweatshirt weather, Rhode Island. So we went from 37, snow, rain, frosty, slushy. The babies, can you guys start? Sorry, reading a text from Laura that just flew by. Anyways, we got some peeps coming in, some T3 folks. This is Jeff's training area. How you guys doing? Hi. Anyways, I just wanted to wrap with you guys real quick because we got to get back to the thing. I was watching Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, big fan of his. He's a business builder, entrepreneur, and he does a lot of fair share of like motivational stuff, even though he hates that. But he was talking about religion being his practicality being his religion. And it really struck me. I was on the elliptical, as I always am when anything strikes me. And he was just saying that practicality is his religion. And he went through the list of why in business practicality is his religion. And he goes through like, I'm not married to Facebook, and I'm not married to Instagram, and I'm not married to, right? And he was going through all these different social channels, and I'm not married to like not putting things on TV commercial-wise, because he's a marketer and all this stuff. Basically what he's saying is that his religion is what works best, right? His religion is what works best. Sorry, I'm trying to find a cool place to go here. Let's walk down this way. What works best for his clients and what works best for his business, regardless of the platforms, rather than being like religiously or like emotionally connected to these platforms and saying, well, I have to use Facebook or Twitter because that's where I've like always been. And so it was just a really interesting thing because it was not about dogs at all. This is strictly about business. But I'm kind of headed in dogland with this because there's been a lot of conversations about, some of the stuff that we do as far as like using prong collars and e-collars. And some folks are like, well, it's lazy dog training or it's overkill. You don't need all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. And why all the duration work? Why are you slowing dogs down? Why isn't it all about happy, speedy, like whatever, right? So, and as Gary said this, it all just clicked for me that it's the same exact thing for me. And kind of being the head of TGD, ooh, it's pretty down here. Some old school brick stuff. Being the head of TGD, it's kind of been my religion and my mission and how we've really built our processes, however you say it, around all the stuff that we do with dogs, whether that be the tools, whether that be the approaches of lifestyle training, passive training, rather than like actively having to like march dogs around constantly, things like that. Doing a lot of duration work, teaching dogs calmness exercises, teaching dogs on and off switches, things like that. And it just really struck me. The parallel is like so right on the money, even though it's about a completely different world. And that's basically, for me and for the whole TGD crew, all we look for is what's most practical. And let me define that for you guys in the dog training world. I know we got a little wind blowing here, but in the dog training world, what's most practical is what works best for the owner and what works best for the dog, but with the owner first. A lot of people get in their practicality is what's best for the dog. Now, I care a lot about dogs and I love dogs and I have a great time with dogs. I got my own dogs, but dogs don't stay in homes, dogs don't survive, and dogs don't live happy lives without humans connected to them, right? So my priority is first with the humans. My priority, practicality-wise, is first, what's going to empower somebody to be able to keep a jumping, growling, nervous, fearful, biting, unpredictable, whatever it might be dog in their home and keep them safe and actually allow them to enjoy them, have control, have more freedom, have them be more reliable. And so the tools, the methods, the approach, the coaching, the strategy, the blueprint, everything that we share is all based in practicality. It's not based in any tradition. I'm self-taught, so I don't have I'm not bogged down by tradition. It's not based on any traditional stuff. It's not based on any kind of performance stuff. We don't have like an AKC standard that we have to make sure dogs look a certain way aesthetically or anything like that. We're training pet dogs to behave well and live harmoniously in their homes. And that's it. So our religion of practicality is based solely on achieving those goals. And it was just a really cool moment for me, having somebody that is really good. Gary's really good at like breaking things down into very clear bite-sized pieces that your brain can completely wrap around. And I've said this in different ways multiple times, but this one just really grabbed me, and I wanted to share with you guys that if you're ever wondering why TGD does the stuff that we do, and why we use the tools that we use, but also why people are doing so well with us, and why owners are doing so well, and why people travel such long distances to bring their dogs to us, or fly their dogs to us, drive their dogs across country to us, it's because of that. It's because practicality is our #1 priority, and that practicality is empowering owners to then empower their dogs to be the best they can be, so they can stay in the home, and so everybody can stay connected. And so we don't have any limitations set up. We don't have any preconceived notions about it has to be this way or it has to look like this. That's the cool part about it, because we don't have to be beholding to any pre-existing regulations or standards or anything like that, as far as like performance and obedience and all that stuff that I was talking about. Our goals are simply pet dog training, behavior mod, regular training, and how do you keep those dogs in the home, how do you keep those owners happy, and how do you keep both, because when the owner's happy and the dog's well behaved, you're gonna have a happy dog. That's just gonna be a natural byproduct. So just want to share that little bit of like practicality being the foundational component of everything we do. So if you're ever wondering, why do they do that? Why do they have a prong collar and an e-collar on a dog? It's not because we're dumb. It's not because we like the way it looks. It's not because we're, like gearheads and we like all sorts of stuff. It's because we found it safer. It's because we found it gives owners more security. It's because we found that dogs behave better in that way and owners enjoy their dogs more. We found that dogs walk nicer. We found that owners have more control of their dogs, right? Why do we use e-collars for off-leash stuff inside the house? Why would you need that? Because there are times when dogs don't want to listen. There are times when dogs want to growl and go after somebody at the front door, and owners need to have control so they can actually have a harmonious home where they have control and the ability to communicate with their dogs. That's why we use e-collars, so owners can have that. So those dogs that might get returned for jumping on grandma, growling at somebody at the door, barking incessantly at windows, chewing stuff up, resource guarding, it could run the gamut. That's why we use e-collar inside the house. A lot of people are like, why an e-collar inside the house? Like, why do you need that? Well, not every dog needs it, but for the dogs that we see and the dogs that are struggling and the owners that are struggling, it's a magic tool that helps people keep their dogs in their home and helps them enjoy their dogs and helps dogs relax, helps dogs live better lives, helps owners live better lives. It's practicality. That's it. That's it. It's the whole deal. So just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to finally disclose, unveil the realities behind why we do what we do and the way we do it. And I hope this makes some sense. Hat tip to Gary Vee for the wisdom. Even though it was business related, it really resonated with me in the fact that we don't, like, if tomorrow another tool came out that was better than a prong collar or better than an e-collar, gave us better results and gave the owners better results, prong collars would be toast. They'd be gone. E-collars would be toast. They'd be gone. we don't have any romantic connection, any affinity for these tools beyond what they can do for us practically. So something better comes along, we're happy. We're happy to make that. We're happy to make that adjustment. We're happy to. How you guys doing? Happy to make that. Jettison those tools when something better comes along. So it's not about like e-collars, prong collars. No, it's just those are the best things we found so far. If we find something better, if somebody develops a better tool, I'm all ears and I'm all eyes and I want to check it all out. So that's that. I just wanted to see if I could clear that up for you guys. I was a little inspired, T3 break, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Hope it makes sense. Practicality based on owners first, being successful, then dogs being successful, right? Owners first, then dogs, because I know happy owners mean dogs get to stay in the home, right? Owners that can control their dogs get to keep those dogs. Dogs that behave get to stay in the home, right? So it's not about like, whatever's the easiest for the dog, and like if it takes a year to get the dog to stop jumping. No, that's not practical. It's not going to keep a dog in a home. That's getting a dog to stop resource guarding after 3 years is not going to keep a dog alive. Getting a dog to not run out in the street after a year and a half, trying to run out in the street, is not going to keep the dog alive. It's based on practicality. It's based on taking care of the owners, taking care of the dogs in the best way that we can. Hope that makes sense. Talk to you guys soon. Time to get back to